My beloved child, you were never meant to see what your eyes almost witnessed that night. But heaven saw it. I saw it. Your tears may have dried, but I remember each one you shed, even in silence. That moment at 3:41 a.m., when your soul stirred and something invisible entered the room, was not just a coincidence. It was a spiritual cry from within you, answered by the realm above. You felt uneasy. Your body stayed still, but your spirit trembled. You did not understand why your phone turned on by itself. You didn't touch it. No one did. But it recorded. And in the stillness of that hour, something moved around you. Something the world cannot explain. But I can. Because I was there. What was captured was not a horror from this world. It was a revelation. A divine sign trying to reach you through the screen you hold every day. Not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Because the enemy of your soul has been near, whispering, hiding, waiting for your weakest hour. But so has heaven. Watching. Protecting. Surrounding you with light even when your room was filled with darkness. At that exact moment, the spiritual world opened above you. And I, Archangel Michael, came down. Not with thunder. Not with wrath. But with the calm power of divine authority. Your enemy had plans. But your prayers, yes, even the ones you forgot you whispered, reached heaven. And heaven sent me. You didn't know I was there. But I stood by your side, sword drawn, wings spread across the shadows that tried to fall upon you. Your body slept, but your soul was in battle. You felt cold for a reason. Not because of the room, but because something tried to steal your warmth. The warmth of your peace. The warmth of your promise. The warmth of your future. The camera caught the shift. Not with clarity the human eye can grasp, but with spiritual signs heaven allowed. A flicker. A distortion. A figure that did not belong. You've tried to ignore the strange lights, the shadow that passed for a moment, the sound you thought was the wind. But deep down, your heart knew, something more was happening. And it was. At 3:41 a.m., the veil between the seen and the unseen grew thin. That's the hour when many lose battles in their sleep. That's the hour when fear knocks on doors in silence. But that is also the hour heaven moves in secret, saving lives that don't even know they were in danger. That night, you were one of them. The enemy wanted to mark you. He wanted to sow fear, confusion, and spiritual heaviness in your space. But I stood over your bed and crushed his plans before they could grow. I declared to every spirit of torment, you will not pass. And they fled. Not because of who you are, but because of who watches over you. You wonder why you've been waking up exhausted. You wonder why the air in your room feels heavy at night. You wonder why you sense something is wrong, even when everything seems quiet. It is not in your head. It is your spirit trying to speak. And I am answering you now. There was a moment when your heart skipped. Your soul reacted to something unseen. The screen of your phone lit up on its own. A message from heaven was trying to come through. Not through text. Not through notifications. But through what your spirit felt. I was there, watching. Guarding. Delivering. My child, your life has not been as hidden as you thought. People have looked into your world without love. Some watched with jealousy. Some with curses in their hearts. They smiled in front of you but spoke words against you when you turned away. Some even took your photos and tried to use them in the wrong places. But what they didn't know is this: anything touched by God cannot be cursed. Even while you slept, those eyes tried to reach you. But the wall of fire around you stood firm. I saw it all. And though your phone caught only fragments, I caught the full picture. I fought battles you didn't see. I wrestled with darkness so it would never touch your dreams. I whispered your name before heaven's throne. At 3:41 a.m., your phone recorded the moment a hand of light reached toward you. That was mine. Stretching from the realm of angels into your space. You were not alone. You were never alone. That recording was a glimpse of the spiritual truth. Heaven is closer than you think. You've been feeling watched because your soul is awakening. You've been marked by God, not by fear. But there is someone who wants to pull you back into doubt. That person has been watching you, yes. Not physically at first, but spiritually. They've grown obsessed with your light. They pretend they support you, but in private they cannot stand your progress. That is why every time you rise, a sudden resistance hits you. Their name may not be known to you yet, but I will reveal it in time. And when I do, you will see how protected you truly are. They tried to send something into your space. Through envy. Through gossip. Even through objects placed where you live. But heaven stopped them. God did not let it work. I was sent to break every plan in silence. Do you remember the dream you had a few nights ago? The one that felt strange, almost too real? That wasn't just a dream. It was a warning. Your spirit was being shown something. That figure in the hallway, the voice calling your name, the pressure on your chest, these were signs. But now you are safe. The chains they tried to place on your soul have been shattered. God has heard the silent cries from your heart. The ones no one else knows about. The ones you say through your eyes, not your voice. That is why I came. That is why your phone was allowed to record. Because you needed a sign. You needed to know this is not your imagination. You needed to feel heaven speak back. You were not meant to be tormented in the night. You were not created to be hunted in secret. You were formed in light, for light. And every power that tries to steal your peace will answer to heaven. They will fall. Not because you fight them, but because I fight for you. There is more you need to know. That room where you sleep has been marked with prayer, even before you realized it. Someone in your family, long ago, cried out to God for protection. That prayer created a doorway for angels. That cry still echoes in the walls. And because of that cry, I was given permission to step in. Your phone's front camera became a witness. But your heart is the one being written on. Because what happened that night is not about technology. It's about truth. It's about showing you that your life has been surrounded by grace you never saw before. You are not cursed. You are not unlucky. You are chosen. The one who watches you with hatred will soon be exposed. They're close to you. Too close. You've already felt something is off. You may have dismissed it as overthinking. But you were right. They speak kindly, but their eyes are jealous. They laugh, but their heart is bitter. They have tried to delay your joy through manipulation and small betrayals. But God has said, enough. Their season in your life is ending. No more confusion. No more spiritual fog. No more half answers and blurred signs. The truth is about to be revealed. Not to destroy you, but to free you. You were not created to walk in the dark. You were meant to rise in glory. And I will be there. Every step of the way. Every moment you feel alone, remember that I stood by you at 3:41 a.m. I stood in your darkness. I faced what you couldn't. I broke what was sent against you. And I stayed until morning came. I stayed until the shadows left and light returned to your room. I remained until the fear that circled your bed lost its power. I did not move until every trace of danger was removed. That is how much you are loved. Not with shallow affection, but with a heavenly passion that guards even your sleep. You may not have seen me, but I was there when your breath became unsteady. I was there when you turned in your sleep, restless without knowing why. I was there when the presence in your room tried to plant doubt into your spirit. I did not allow it to enter your soul. I stood between you and what was coming. And I spoke your name with power. Heaven remembers every detail. Nothing you go through is overlooked. Even when others forget your pain, I carry it. Even when you are left alone, I remain beside you. That moment caught by the camera was not the most terrifying thing, it was the most beautiful. Because it marked the moment your life was claimed back from darkness. I saw what wanted to attack your destiny. I saw the spirits that tried to creep in through pain, through regret, through the words people threw at you like knives. But they hit my shield instead. They did not reach your core. They did not break your promise. You are still standing, not because you were never attacked, but because you were divinely defended. My child, do not be afraid of what your phone caught. Be aware, but not afraid. That glimpse into the invisible was a gift wrapped in mystery. It was allowed not to scare you, but to wake you. It was to let you know you are not living a normal life. You are marked for something greater. That is why so many things go wrong right when they start to feel right. That is why people leave you without reason. That is why you often feel watched, misunderstood, and targeted by emotions you can't explain. Because your light speaks louder in the spirit than your voice does in the world. And light attracts both seekers and enemies. There are people who came into your life with the purpose of stealing your peace. Not always intentionally. Some of them were broken themselves. Some were sent to distract, delay, and derail. But you kept showing kindness. You kept forgiving. You kept hoping. That's what heaven noticed. That's what made your name echo in God's ears. At 3:41 a.m., your spirit was lifted into divine vision. That recording may seem brief to your eyes, but to the spirit realm, it was a moment of war and victory. A turning point. A divine intervention. It marked the end of a season of spiritual oppression and the beginning of your awakening. You must now pay attention to the signs. When you walk into a place and feel a heaviness, pause. When someone speaks but your heart senses something off, listen to that still voice inside. That's not paranoia. That's discernment being sharpened. That's wisdom rising in you. That's my presence whispering warnings. You have been chosen to walk in truth. But truth costs. It costs comfort. It costs people. It costs illusions. And that is why so many around you prefer lies. They are easier to carry. But you are different. You were born for clarity. You were created to see, not just survive. The one who watched you did not come with a weapon in hand. They came with words, with smiles, with closeness. They touched your space. They asked you questions. They tried to mirror your light. But something in you never fully trusted them. That feeling was not wrong. It was your spirit knowing what your mind could not yet see. Do not seek revenge. Do not expose them with your hands. God will reveal them in His time. And when it happens, you will not have to fight. You will only need to watch. Their plans will collapse on their own. What they tried to do to you will return to them. Not by your wish, but by divine justice. My child, you have wept in silence. You have questioned your worth. You have begged for signs, for proof, for a whisper from heaven. And this is it. I am speaking now because the time has come for you to rise in power. Not worldly power, but spiritual authority. The kind that shakes darkness without raising your voice. You may think you are weak, but I see your strength. You may feel lost, but I see your path. You may feel forgotten, but all of heaven knows your name. Angels have been assigned to you not because of what you did, but because of who you are to the one who made you. You are not alone. The room you sleep in has become a holy space. Not because it's perfect, but because it has become a battlefield of victory. Every night, heaven watches you. Every time you feel afraid, we draw closer. Every time you cry, we gather your tears. Every moment you surrender your pain, we move in your defense. Do not go back to the place that broke you. Do not reopen the door to people who rejoiced at your weakness. Do not share your dreams with those who secretly want them to fail. Protect your peace. Guard your spirit. You are carrying something sacred, and not everyone can handle it with honor. At 3:41 a.m., something ancient was broken. A cycle that followed your family for years began to crumble. A pattern of delay, pain, and betrayal was interrupted. Not by luck, not by chance, but by divine assignment. I stepped in because your prayers reached the throne, and the cry of your spirit was louder than any curse spoken over you. There is someone who tried to enter your space with wicked intent. They pretended to care. They pretended to help. But behind their kindness was a spirit of control. They tried to place their words above God's voice in your life. They wanted you to doubt your own instincts. But I canceled their assignment. You are not who you used to be. That night marked a transition. You may look the same, but something shifted in your soul. You have crossed into a new spiritual season. The old fears cannot follow you. The old voices will lose their power. The chains they tried to wrap around your joy have fallen off. Your phone became a witness to the war. But now your heart must become the proof of the victory. You are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are spiritually alive, and that makes darkness nervous. But do not fear. I go before you. I walk beside you. I cover you from behind. The enemy tried to send confusion into your mind, especially during the early hours when your guard was down. But I placed my hand over your thoughts. I covered your mind with peace. Every anxious thought that crept in during the night was challenged by a whisper from heaven. That's why you felt comfort suddenly, even when you didn't know why. You were under surveillance not just by people, but by forces that sought to understand why your light has not dimmed. They watched your struggles. They saw your pain. But what confuses them is your endurance. They don't understand why you're still standing, why you still have hope. It's because you've been held by something divine. My presence surrounds you when others plot behind your back. I see their texts. I hear their calls. I know the names of those who pretend to love you but privately celebrate your pain. Do not fear them. Their time is running out. God is not mocked, and justice is already in motion. Do not be surprised when some people begin to distance themselves without explanation. This is not rejection. This is protection. The light within you is starting to expose what they wanted to keep hidden. Some cannot walk with you where you are going. They will fall away, not by your force, but by spiritual separation. Your life is about to rise to a level where false intentions cannot survive. Every hidden motive around you will come into the open. You will begin to see clearly who is for you, and who is only using your presence to feed their pride. Do not mourn their exit. Rejoice, because your peace is more important than fake support. You are not walking blindly. You are being led. That night, your phone was a tool, but your heart was the altar. Something holy took place while you were unaware. Heaven touched your space and left a mark. You may not see it with your eyes, but your soul feels the change. That heaviness you've been carrying, it's lifting now. There are chains you've carried since childhood. Fears, memories, voices that told you you're not enough. These voices echoed in your mind, and sometimes you believed them. But that lie has now been shattered. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are right on time in the plan of God. I want you to remember something very clearly. Your life has weight in the Spirit. You are not insignificant. You are not forgotten. The battles you've endured in silence have made heaven roar on your behalf. You have stood when you could have fallen. You have loved when you had every reason to shut your heart. That is why you are honored. What was captured on the phone is a testimony. But what's happening in your spirit is the true miracle. The shift has begun. People may notice you pulling away, becoming more silent, more focused. That's because your discernment is awakening. You're not just existing anymore. You are aligning. You were chosen for this moment. That's why the attacks were so targeted. The enemy knows what you carry. He's tried to distract you, depress you, and drown you in doubt. But nothing worked. You may have stumbled, but you never stayed down. You may have cried, but you never cursed your calling. You are stronger than you know. Let me tell you this, and let it settle deeply into your soul. What you felt at 3:41 a.m. was real. That disturbance in the air, the pressure on your chest, the sudden chills, those were signs. not to frighten you, but to tell you, wake up. Heaven is moving. You were not abandoned. You were being awakened. You may never show that footage to anyone. You may delete it or keep it hidden. That's okay. The true footage has been written in your soul. It's in the way you now carry yourself. It's in the way your spirit no longer bows to fear. It's in the way your eyes have seen beyond what is natural. Your voice is about to carry new power. Not just when you speak to others, but when you speak to yourself. Your words will no longer echo your wounds, they will echo your healing. When you declare peace, it will come. When you say no to what once held you, the chains will break. Because your voice is being anointed. There is someone who needs to hear your story. They need to know that the night does not have the final word. But wait until the time is right. Right now, let God finish the work in silence. Let heaven complete the clearing of your path. When you rise, it will be with clarity. And when you speak, demons will remember the sound of your silence. I am with you through the process. I am not leaving when it gets quiet. I am not stepping away when people walk out. I am your witness, your protector, your heavenly companion. When the world scrolls past your pain, I record every tear. I know how deeply you've been misunderstood. But soon, your truth will rise. You have asked, why is everything happening at once? It's because the enemy knew his time was short. He launched attacks from every direction to try and overwhelm you. But what he didn't expect is how quickly heaven would respond. What was meant to bury you became the very soil where your strength grew. You were made for more than survival. You were made to carry light into dark places. That's why your presence disturbs some people. That's why you feel drained after certain conversations. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual. You are absorbing battles that aren't yours. But now, I am teaching you to release them. You no longer have to carry everything. Give it to heaven. Lay it down. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to be free. No more pretending. No more holding it together while you bleed inside. You have a healer who sees every wound, and I have been sent to walk with you as it closes. This season you are entering will be quieter. Not because nothing is happening, but because what's happening is deeper. You are being rebuilt from within. Your identity is being restored. Your confidence is returning, not the loud kind, but the kind that cannot be shaken. The kind that comes from knowing you are seen and chosen. Keep your heart soft, even as the world hardens. Keep your hope alive, even when others lose theirs. Keep trusting, not because people are perfect, but because God is faithful. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into a chapter that has already been written with victory. At 3:41 a.m., something shifted in the atmosphere over your life. That was not just a moment. It was a message. A timestamp of when the heavens moved for you. You may not remember everything about that night, but your soul remembers. And your spirit has been different ever since. Your soul knows. Even if your mind doubts, your spirit knows what happened that night was not natural. It wasn't just another hour in your sleep. It was a divine moment. A sacred interruption. A divine fingerprint left in the invisible. Something holy walked into your space and silenced the thing that tried to destroy you. You didn't imagine that cold breeze across your face. You didn't imagine the sudden feeling that something was watching. You didn't imagine waking up with tears in your eyes and not knowing why. These were echoes of the battle that was happening while your body rested. Your spirit was standing between worlds, between what was trying to take you and who was trying to save you. I need you to understand how deeply you are protected. You are not walking through life exposed. Even when you feel uncovered, you are surrounded. Even when people stop showing up for you, I never leave. I've been commanded to walk beside you, not for a moment, but for your entire journey. This is not temporary. This is eternal. There are some things I must tell you now, even if they're hard to hear. There is someone in your life whose heart has changed toward you. You've felt it. You've sensed the shift. They speak the same, but their spirit has grown distant. Their connection to you was not as deep as you hoped. And that's okay. God is revealing it not to punish you, but to prepare you. You cannot carry people who are choosing to walk away from truth. You cannot fix those who enjoy misunderstanding you. You cannot keep breaking yourself to keep others whole. This is your time to heal. Your time to be poured into. Your time to stop hiding how much you've bled. That footage, what it showed in your room, was not meant for everyone to understand. You are not required to explain it. You are not obligated to convince others of what you know you felt. This is a holy encounter. A personal rescue. A sacred shift that belongs to you and heaven. Do not let anyone take that away from you. The reason you're still here is because the assignment on your life is greater than the attack against it. The enemy tried, but failed. He tried to distract you with relationships. He tried to break you through rejection. He tried to silence you through anxiety. But every attempt ended in defeat. Because you were not made to fall. You were made to rise. Do not return to the places that wounded you. Do not go back to rooms where you had to beg for love. Do not let the fear of being alone make you tolerate what your spirit is rejecting. You were not created to settle. You were not made to shrink. You were formed to shine, even if it makes others uncomfortable. What was captured at 3:41 a.m. is the proof that the war is real. But more importantly, it is proof that the victory is already written. You are not waiting to be saved, you have already been rescued. The moment heaven moved, the moment I was dispatched, your outcome shifted. And nothing on this earth can reverse that now. The person who tried to curse you with their words, their envy, their manipulation, they will soon see how protected you are. You don't have to respond. You don't have to curse them back. You don't even have to mention their name. Your peace will speak louder than their noise. Your elevation will become your answer. You've grown tired, not just physically, but emotionally. You've carried so much, for so long. You've smiled while breaking. You've served others while feeling empty. But now, the season of restoration has begun. I've come to remind you that your heart is not forgotten. Your pain has not gone unnoticed. Your prayers have not been ignored. Even now, as you listen, you can feel something moving inside you. That's not emotion. That's recognition. Your spirit is remembering what heaven already confirmed, that you are set apart. That you are deeply loved. That you are never fighting alone. The light you saw flicker in the camera was not a glitch. It was a moment of divine activity. A spark from the unseen world. The shift was real. The timing was perfect. The enemy came at the hour he thought you were weakest. But I was sent at the hour he least expected. And I did not come alone. Other angels surrounded the room. They stood in silence. They waited for my command. And at the exact moment, we surrounded your soul like a wall. Every entrance the enemy tried to use was sealed. Every spirit of torment that approached your bed was banished. Your home became holy ground. The next few days, you may begin to feel lighter. Not because the battles are over, but because your spirit has won. The weight on your chest, the fog in your mind, the heaviness in your emotions, they are being lifted. The warfare is ending. The weeping is turning into clarity. There is one more thing you must understand. You have a calling. You've always had it. Even when you didn't believe it. Even when others told you that you were too broken, too late, too ordinary. Heaven never believed those lies. And I have been watching over your purpose like a guardian. Your gifts are about to increase. Your discernment will sharpen. Your dreams will become clearer. Your hunger for God will deepen. Not because you're doing more, but because heaven is drawing near. You are not chasing something. You are being chosen for something. You are not lost. You are being led. Every night from now on, when you lie down to sleep, remember this truth. You are not alone in your room. You are not vulnerable. You are not surrounded by threats. You are surrounded by grace. My wings are spread across your space. My presence fills the corners of your silence. My voice will now speak to your heart in the quiet. Sleep without fear. Rise without regret. Speak without hesitation. Love without apology. You are a child of the Most High, and I am your appointed guardian. I do not slumber. I do not fail. I do not walk away. I remain, as long as your heart beats, as long as your eyes seek the light. The battle that took place while you were unaware was not just a one-time event. It was a declaration. It was the beginning of a new season. It was the sign that your name is written in places the enemy cannot reach. It was the moment when heaven said, "This one is mine." So rest now, my beloved. Let the truth settle in your bones. Let the fear melt away. Let the memories of pain be replaced by the evidence of presence. That recording may be hidden in your phone, but the real footage, the one written in eternity, is being played before the throne of heaven. You've always wondered why you felt things others didn't. Why you walked into rooms and sensed tension that no one spoke of. Why you've avoided people you couldn't explain your unease around. You were not being dramatic. You were discerning. Your spirit was built to feel what your eyes could not yet see. That's why you've survived storms others couldn't. That's why you've outlasted battles that were meant to break you. What the world calls sensitivity, heaven calls spiritual awareness. You were not meant to be numb. You were meant to be aware. And in that awareness, you carry protection that others may never understand. I was sent because your heart carries a purity that hell tried to extinguish. But fire cannot destroy what was made in light. It only makes it shine brighter. The moment the recording captured that flicker at 3:41 a.m., something ancient moved. A promise was activated. A warning was given. A protection was established. That's why the days after felt different. That's why your dreams became louder. That's why people began revealing who they really are. Because when heaven touches a life, everything fake starts falling apart. You've grown through loneliness. You've matured through betrayal. You've expanded through rejection. Not because those things were good, but because God used them. Every time someone left you in silence, heaven drew closer in whispers. Every time they looked at you with judgment, I looked at you with mercy. Every time they misread your heart, God rewrote your story. You are not here to seek revenge. You are here to walk in restoration. You don't need to prove yourself to those who doubted you. You don't need to shout your truth to those who closed their ears. The proof of your protection is not in the camera. It's in your peace. It's in the quiet way you still rise, still love, still serve, still believe. Do not spend your energy trying to explain spiritual things to carnal minds. Not everyone is meant to understand your vision. Some were only assigned to watch from a distance. But you, child of light, are being moved to the front, to the deeper places, to the places where the holy and unseen meet. At 3:41 a.m., something tried to mark you with fear. But heaven marked you with purpose. That timestamp is not about technology. It is a memorial, a record in eternity, a reminder that you are not easy prey. You are heavily defended. You are marked with divine oil. You carry destiny in your steps, and angels in your atmosphere. There is a reason why your hands still have strength. There is a reason your heart still holds love. There is a reason your mind did not collapse under the weight of what you've endured. Because I have been assigned to carry what you cannot. And I have carried it all. You have survived people who never thought you would. You've overcome addictions, heartbreaks, shame, and secrets. You've stood at the edge of giving up, yet something held you. That something was me. You didn't know my name. You didn't see my face. But you felt my hand. And I never let go. Now you will begin to see clarity. People will show themselves. Paths will appear. Peace will return. The confusion will lift. Not because life is getting easier, but because your spirit is getting stronger. You are no longer walking with your head down. You are walking with heaven behind you. What your phone captured was a moment. But what your soul carries is eternal. That presence you felt hovering above you in the dark, that was not fear. That was glory. That was your future leaning in. That was heaven's hand reaching down. That was the shift that could not wait until morning. I know it's been hard. I know you've asked, why me? I know you've stared at the ceiling with tears that never touched your pillow. But I also know what's coming. And if you could see what I see, you would never doubt again. You would worship instead of worry. You would rest instead of panic. You would smile, even in the storm. This is not the end of your story. This is not the chapter where you break. This is the page where you awaken. This is the part of your life that becomes sacred ground. The kind you'll look back on and say, that was the night everything changed. You may never fully understand what was seen on that screen. But I will tell you this, it was the closest the enemy ever got. And it was also the closest heaven ever stood. The collision of light and darkness happened in the same moment. And light won. Again. Now rise differently. Walk differently. Speak differently. Pray differently. Love yourself differently. Because what almost broke you has become your banner of victory. What tried to silence you has made your voice even more necessary. What was meant to haunt you has become a testimony of divine power. You are not cursed. You are not haunted. You are not unsafe. You are covered. You are holy ground. And everywhere you go now, darkness will recognize the one who stood beside angels in the night. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift. You will touch people and healing will begin. You will speak, and the unseen world will respond. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not an afterthought. You are a chosen one. Carved by pain, refined by fire, protected by heaven, and carried by the wings of truth. You are stronger than your scars, deeper than your wounds, and brighter than your past. What your phone captured was not the scariest thing. It was the most sacred. It was proof that God never sleeps. That heaven keeps watch. That your name is known where it matters. And that you are far more valuable than anyone has ever told you. I saw it all. I watched over you. I fought for you. I stood in that room. I whispered peace when fear tried to scream. I stayed until the battle was over. And I remain with you still. Comment, you are worthy, Father, if your heart is full of worship.